Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Proto 2000 SW9/12 locomotive, Burlington Northern. Really great shape. It's DC. I test run it. The motor is phenomenal once again. Gears are all good on this guy. Purchased him for 60 bucks. Once again at a train show. And I'm at this point I'm just going to convert this guy. So I'm going to take it from DC to DCC. I'd already just taken off the shell, which kind of snaps on. I took the couplers off first. They're sitting back over there. For anyone interested in how to remove the shell on this, just take the couplers off, okay? And then it kind of snaps over the top. So, but this is what we got underneath, okay? We're gonna put in a, I'm gonna throw in another ESU on this guy. And I'm gonna try some sound. This locomotive, I noticed, has a weight here, an extra weight, which, as you can see here, screws, you can just take it right off by unscrewing it. And that's going to allow us some space to do some things. This locomotive has pretty good weight as it is, so I'm going to be, I don't know, we'll see what happens there. I mean, otherwise, we haven't really thought it out yet, but we could go inside of the cab here too. So, one other thing I'm considering for this one are ditch lights. I don't see any here, but we're going to probably put some in. Custom some in there. So this will be the next project. Okay, so let's take a look at this guy. So we have 2 track leads here. And I believe these are 2 track leads here. They're both going back down to the trucks. You can see that right here. And you can see it back in here. I'm going to remove this. Let's remove this weight that is screwed onto the back. Okay. I thought it would be interesting to work on one of those, one of these, I should say, because someone had commented on another video to tackle one of these DC versions of this. Now, I thought it was going to be complicated, but like I was saying, this weight right here, okay, it comes off. Oh, there's 2 more screws in there. But because it comes off, that allows us some more space. I've already taken this off previous to this video, and it still has good weight. So we may be doing that. Anyway, so let's take this weight off. Okay, we'll do that first, and then we'll take the board for the DC locomotive off too. That way you guys can get a good look at it. So, all right, this just slides out, and these wires have a little slot here that you can pull them right out of. If you can see that, it just flew right out there. So there are those leads. Okay, very, very, that's some fine wiring. And hopefully we do not destroy that wiring as we do this DCC install. So the board here has some tabs, and this just clicks right in there. So that comes off like that. So the red here is our positive track lead, and our blue is our negative track lead. But underneath here, when I flip it around, you can get a better look at the motor leads. For the motor leads, if you look here, we have a red and a black. The black is traveling down to the lower part of the motor for its power, for its electrical contact. And then the red is here on the top, going right in here. See if I could flip that. Let me get my, so here's the red. It is connected to the top portion of the motor. Okay, and let's flip this back around. The black is running, let's see, is it loop? Okay, here we go. Here's the black. Right there, and it's going to the lower part. It's going down below here to the lower part of the motor. So those are the wires that we need to remove from this board here, okay? All right, I got on my tweezers. Got it. So the black one's off. All right, got it. Okay, thing happening here. All right, there we go. So they connected both of those power leads, track leads, to that one position. I didn't get the other one off yet. Let's do that now. It's right under here. Oh, I got it. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. It's this guy. So just pull him gently and get him off. There he goes. All right. Let's remove this and see what comes out easily and what doesn't. Okay, that did good. Whoa. All right. This blue one. Black. All right, hopefully you're seeing this that way. And there we go. Okay. So, we've got them all unsoldered. Okay. Track. Those are track. They're going to your trucks. Track. Okay, and then motor. So, and so far so good. We have plenty of wire here for good connection to track. And we've got plenty of wire to work with the motor. So, we are good. Next, we'll get to a point of where we can put the decoder and isolate it, obviously, from any metal. So we'll be back for that, okay? But that is removing your board. So once again, let's look at this, okay? So this board has areas that were soldered where the wires were at. Talking, let's see, here were the motors. These two here is where you unsolder your motor leads, okay? Over here were the red track leads, over here were the blue track leads. It looks like a lot, but when you start doing more of these, they get pretty easy to identify. And this is a good little board. We'll keep this. So, okay. So we removed the weight to get to those other track leads, all right? So next, we will hit this guy. We got to figure out where we want to put stuff. I don't think we're going to have room on top of this motor, but we'll check that out too. Okay, so I've gotten back into the shell here, separated these two pieces here. Want to show up inside of here, we have some lights, some connections. And I'm wondering if there's a way for me to use those connections, but I don't think so. But might be able to use those areas to connect all the wiring for the lighting, which might come in handy. Not sure yet, but next is going to be to get inside of here. I got to remove this to get to that wiring and that lighting. Going into the cab, that's illuminating these guys back here. Oh no. I'm still thinking there's wiring connecting it all, which there is. So we've got that to contend with now. I'll grab my small, there we go. Grab my small little screwdriver to get these guys out. Those are our engineers sitting in there. And wow, there's a really complex channel going through here. There's a lot of work to get to the light up there. I wonder if they've got that box there to cover it up so the lighting doesn't come down into the cab, which that's also a great idea. So now, okay, they do have, oh, okay, very cool. All right, this is what I'm hoping, everybody. These windows in here that are in the cab, you can see part of it right there. They look like they might collapse and not be glued. I think they were held in by this section, these tabs, which would be fantastic. This whole thing looks like it's going to slide out. Oh, this is going to be, we'll have to be very, oh wow. Yeah, the one piece came off. It's been bent that way for so long. So we'll have to fix that. See this here cracked on the other side, so we're gonna have to do that when we put these windows back in. Now I'm gonna carefully put those off to the side. I'm really, all right, so now we've got we've got other ones here that were being held in place by that section, and hopefully I don't see any glue holding this in place, which, if you ask me, is a wonderful thing. This is sliding up. Yes. Just have to remember, well, it's not hard to remember which way they go, because the sides with the bump got to go through and out the window. So that, I'm really glad these come out that easily though, because I'm thinking about painting this, and this way we don't have to mask windows. All right, so this looks like it's going to pull out of there too, and that portion is connected, oh, to the light. Okay. All right. So this is all one piece. Well, probably not, but yeah, that comes off. Wow, that just goes right on there like that, doesn't it? That, oh, I see, and the other one goes right over the front. That is really nifty. I like that. This would be perfect. Perfect way to do our lights. All right. So we'll remove these, but I'm going to take a photograph of the way this is set up so that I can do the exact same thing. Okay, I've been taking a few notes here on where to position our decoder. Okay, I have it here. This is a, let me get the box here. Swing over here to my box. Right here. Okay, that's what we got here. It's a micro, so it's small, but powerful, trust me. I'd already thought about this, okay? Get you down to the side here. I have a mini cube speaker also. I am going to attempt here. We only have, and excuse all the wires, it's hard to see where the top is, but if you look at, it is hard to see. If you look at this point here, that is virtually the top. We can't go too much higher than that because the top of this will hit the decoder. This is where I'm at right now, so we're thinking about this at the same time. We're looking at this. But I looked at this off camera, and if we go straight across and keep it just below this front nose here, so right about here, okay, then we clear the motor wheel too with the wires, and underneath, or we go this way even, is what I was thinking, upside down with it, okay, and see the gap in between the chassis and the decoder? That's where the mini cube speaker will go, right underneath it. So I'm thinking we will use this area and probably screw in a thin piece of styrene to those 4 screw holes we got there, right there. One more thing I wanted to point out is I removed all the wires from under here, and the more I look at these contacts that are underneath there, the more I'm thinking we probably need to remove those, okay, because they were actually connected to some of the points here, some of the metal pieces on this board. So I don't want those connections in there, those copper getting too close now to this metal motor. That wouldn't be good. So probably going to remove those, and I believe those would just, as I was taking the wires off, I noticed that once you get solder on those little points, it starts jiggling out of there. I think the solder is also holding those into the little clips that are underneath there. Okay, so that's all I wanted to point out. That's all for tonight, but we'll be back next time and we'll start wiring this guy up. So I went ahead and did it like this. So we have this area, okay, where the wires will feed through that little hole, both sides. And hopefully our screws fit and just keep this in place. Okay, so here's what I did. The 2 screws went in here just fine. They go all the way down, but the 2 screws back here, they're set to sit up a little higher. So I just put a little piece of Tapcon tape, and so that's going to be, most likely that's going to be where we rest. Like I said, we're going to rest this guy there, and right on top of him, right below him I should say, we're going to have the speaker. Okay, got our speaker in place with a little Tapcon tape. So that's what we're doing here. So we've got this section open for the 2 tabs to solder the speaker wires to. And then here's a good starting point for our decoder. Okay, now let's test fit it. Put the cap on here, which goes this way. Okay. Yes. Okay, it fits. So there you have it. So we know we're good. Now let's pop it back off. Okay. Oop, don't pull those out. There we go. All right, our test fit is good. Okay, so now I'm putting Tapcon tape over the top metal portion of the motor. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. That's good. Okay. You can see the yellow just covering the top. We're not sure what wires we will have doing what up there yet. So that is set. Okay, here's our setup so far. We got our left track lead, right track lead, and our motor leads. Let's just say that, because sometimes they're different, but on this locomotive it worked out well. Orange connects with the red on the top here. Typically these wires coming out of the loco are orange and also gray, but on this loco, as you can see, they're black. It's black instead of gray. These are our motor, okay? Once again, the track. These are the track leads here. Okay, so that's where we're at. Okay, so now we will connect our 2 speaker wires. Here, we're going to connect them to the tabs. There's 2 metal tabs right in here. Okay, sound is complete on this guy. We got the sound and the speaker all hooked up. Here we go. And motor. There's our generic sound. Looking pretty good. So our track, motor, and sound is rigged up. I'll zoom in really quick here and I'll show you what we got. Okay, so here's what we got. Zoom in here a little bit. Get some light. Sorry about that. So our speaker wires connected here. Got little solder joints there. See both brown wires? Okay. Okay, so we're all tucked in neatly here, as organized as we can get. Put another piece of tape over our decoder and speaker connections here. And you can see I'm already starting to on, let's see, this side here, starting to tuck them underneath that little, this black piece here. That's kind of our limitation, you know. Everything has to land straight across that. I have a ruler here. I'm kind of testing it out with. So you can see we have some room underneath there. Still a little bit for our decoder, which is good because underneath that decoder over here, right in here, you know, we're going to have our LED to the front. So it's going to be up in here, up inside of there. So this was really, you know, it's interesting the way they had the wires connected up here. There's little slots. See if I can point them out to you guys. Let's move this. This is interesting. Right, see if I can do this, but right here, there are little slots. The wires feed in, so you have, you know, one on one side and one on another side. Same with the back. Here, they travel into the cab though, which was a little bit, if you were watching earlier, was a little bit of a complex put back together. We got a lot of windows to put back in and these guys and stuff, but I may start out that way by hooking up our LEDs up inside of there first, and then working our way down back to these wires. So that's it for today. Okay, so I started adding some of the lighting. LEDs are going in. I use this putty, if you haven't seen in previous few videos. The name of this putty is, oh, here we go. So that putty down in there, okay, that stuff right there is this. Stuff works great. It doesn't dry out. It bonds like a glue, but if you ever have to replace your LEDs, you can pull this stuff right back up. Now, and I always put a piece of Tapcon tape to secure it, because when this comes down to the decoder area with all those wires, it tends to pull sometimes. Same here. This is the piece at the LED facing outward, and that's going to be up inside of the cab. And right now, I am waiting for just a quick dry of the beacon casing. This is where the beacon is going to go in. So when that dries here in a minute, I'm going to put it up on the top of the cab. Okay, and when that gets glued, then I'm going to drill down through that hole in between with a very fine drill bit. We'll drill through the top here and into this area. It will come down right about into this back area. The wire will come down, and then we'll feed it out this little side passage thing they have built in. We'll feed both LEDs out that, and we'll put the cab, which goes, you know, the cab goes back on top here, okay? And we'll get all of the windows hopefully and all this stuff back together. Okay, and then we'll have the wires, all three LEDs, 6 wires coming out through here. And from that point, then we'll work on where we're going to join them up with the remaining wires up here, you know, our auxiliary wires. So that's the plan, okay? But I thought I'd just get you guys up to speed on the lighting today while I wait for this guy to dry. Okay, so I can't necessarily show you completely what I've done here, but I've got the LEDs, both the one for the beacon in and this backlight up here. They're both up and in, and I put all the windows back in, and they even have a little channel, if you could see it, for the wires to run up. And there's another channel inside of that little gray box at the top that allowed everything to run through flawlessly without any pressure or any kinks on the wires. And I've labeled with some blue tape the beacon light, because I want to make sure that one is attached to an auxiliary, and then the rear light is attached in alignment with the front. So we've got all that packed in there again. I'm just waiting. I'll be able to close that portion of it up once here. Let me show you this. I'm gonna grab the front of it with some tweezers here. But I've added a different engineer in here. He's glued in place. Let me see. There we go. So we have a new engineer glued in place there. You really don't see the floor of this. All you really see through the windows is this back side right here, and I just applied a little bit of a wash color. It looks kind of messy, but I'll show you again once we get him in place and inside. But that's where we're at. We're getting there. Next thing is going to be installing our ditch lights to this piece. Okay, so here's our little engineer in there. He's at the wheel. See, and then the back side, if you look closely in there, you can just barely see the back of those seats or whatever that's supposed to be, like little controls. But the rest gets pretty dark in there because there's not an interior cab light. So that will be awesome. Yeah. So there you have it. Okay, so the cab is attached. Once again, we have got the cab attached. The wires come through nicely, no kinks. There's a gap in there. There's a gap in the wall, which really helps. So now I'm going to tape all of these up top and get them secure. So working on my ditch lights here, I wanted to point out this. I bought these. They are a light blank, so it's like a knockout for Dash 2s. I purchased them for the shape because they kind of look like a ditch light casing. So what I've done with these, okay, is I've drilled little holes in these 4. You can probably see, okay, so there's some little holes I drilled out. They fit right down. Let me turn the light here so you can see. So they fit right in there. All right, here we go. See, so they fit right in. So I'm gonna put a little glue and see if that doesn't destroy our LED or not. We'll drill holes to the front here and we'll pull those lights through. And in the end, I think what we'll do, if this all works out, is in the end, I'll paint the sides. Paint the sides a black so that just the front is the clear portion that will light up. All right, let's give this a shot. Sorry about the bad photography and videography here. Okay, so we're getting there. With our ditch lights. Now they haven't been painted yet. I'm hoping to paint the sides of each and just leave the acrylic clear part on the top, front face. But the wiring kind of runs through with a little bit of putty underneath here, and then it tucks up in between this metal frame on the lower side here and this top right here, and it runs up. They're running up right through there, so it's kind of nice. So far so good. The wires are so small that they can stay hidden and not interfere with the wheels. So that's where we're at with the ditch lights. So let's see, there we go. All right, I think that once we paint the outside of those, it's gonna come together nice. Wow, so far so good. I've tested the LEDs. None of them are shorting out on me underneath there. So that's good. Okay, here I'm showing these are the electrical connections for the LEDs for the ditch lights. Okay, so we got 4 red ones running, 4 red running to the common. This auxiliary, purple, we have 4 running to those, to that purple one. With a inside here we have a little resistor. So right now that was a big job. All to light up these guys front and back. All right, next, beacon, rear light, front light. Well, here we are. I spent a few hours connecting the remaining auxiliary wires for lighting the beacon and the front and rear lights, and got everything packed in nicely, and went on to find a nice SW9 sound file on ESU website. So this is it. We've got our I got to do a little bit more painting in there, as you can see. I'm letting it dry, but you know, we painted the sidewalls of the ditch light portions. Let me turn them off and I'll show you. So but those are our ditch lights there. They look kind of neat. Worked out well. Got our beacon. There it goes. And we got our front and rear light. Let me change it to the rear. Turned out really nice, this install. We'll go to the front. There's our front. And let's start her up, you guys. Got some good bass and treble coming out of this speaker. And a coupler, uncouple, and let's take off. This motor is so smooth, it's ridiculous. So, another chain to my collection. Let's run them slow. Looks great. Got a guy in there, and there's a lot of fun doing this one. So I'm adding some final details now. Big horns up top, antenna, and I'm about to touch up some white. I've added a single hose. Let's see if you could see that there, but I'm going to try and lift it a little. Added some hose there on both front and back. Here's another one there, along with our ditch lights down there. Just wanted to add a little bit more detail. The original horns were right here, so I just removed it and added the bigger set off to the side, make it look kind of neat. And of course, once again, an antenna. And I am in the process of, if you could see this right here. There we go. Right here. I've constructed out of metal some other handrails to go up the sides here, right here. I fit them already. They fit in place, but I'm going to paint them first white. They had some there, but they kind of came off to the side. I didn't really like the look of it. Still debating whether I like the look of this portion too, but I'll probably keep it. And then one last thing are some sunshades. I'm going to paint those a black. So that's what I'm doing to finalize this project. Well, that concludes this video of this transformation of this locomotive from DC to DCC with sound. I enjoyed it very much. In these photos you can see some of the last details and the painting of the handrails and the addition of all the rest. Thanks again. Many more to come.